Hi guys, welcome to my channel, Mars Form Barnsey. I hope everybody's doing okay. I just want to carry on with try and finish really, because I've done that many videos now on Cydonia. It's getting a bit ridiculous, to be honest with you, but I've had to do so many videos to try and show you as much evidence as I possibly can about what I'm putting forward. You know, and other people have put forward for many years that they thought some of these structures weren't natural, like the face. They call this the force. It isn't a force, but they call this a force. You know, they call this the H. It's not a H. It's a bird. Okay. I'll show you a little bit more evidence on that a bit later on. You know, stuff like that, and a lot of the original evidence for these being structures were taken from the Viking orbiters, and obviously it was the face that was the very, you know, that really sort of kicked it all off. But for some reason, the ESA images, I don't think, have been really studied properly by researchers, and it's partly to do with the fact that NASA have imaged Cydonia quite a few times over the years and managed to do quite a good debunking of Cydonia with some of the images that they've released on like, as an example, like the face. You know, they've released it so that it looks just like a pile of rocks a lot of time, and they've done really well at taking all the information out of their images. So, but having said that, people go to NASA images because they are technologically supposed to be the very best that you can get. The MRO, the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, that can actually image details down to something like a couple of feet, 90 centimeters or something like that, whereas this ESA, I think the maximum resolution on what they're showing us is 13.7 meters per pixel, which is about 45 feet. So in theory, you know, the NASA images are like 10 times better. So obviously people are going to go to the NASA images and study them with a fine tooth comb. But so the ESA images don't really get the attention that they should have done by researchers, for obvious reasons. But like I've always said, only for Cydonia, I'm not too sure about other areas, okay? But I'm talking specifically for Cydonia. You will not find, or you'll find very few anomalies using NASA images, and your research will be faulty. I don't care who you are, how good a researcher you are, how good you are at you know, if you're an image specialist, whatever. If you're using NASA images, you will produce faulty research, very unfortunately, because most of the detail and the information has been redacted. I'm hoping to show that in the near future when I get a little bit of when I got the opportunity. I'm going to try and compare these ESA images with the NASA images, and I'm hoping I'm going to be able to show you just how rubbish the NASA images are compared with this, because at this moment in time you will not get any better images of Cydonia than this, and this has got its faults, I can tell you. You know, this is, you know, got a lot of problems with it, a hell of a lot of problems, but it's still many times better than anything you'll find from NASA. But unfortunately, people go to NASA because they're the go-to space agents, because they're the most technologically advanced and they've got the best cameras, and but also they've got no problem at all with wiping out any little bit of detail, any anomalies. They will just wipe them completely out. Whereas ESA hasn't done that. It has redacted information, and this image isn't. We're only seeing what 30% of what's actually here with ESA, but it's still enough. They've still given us enough truth in the image so that we can come to a reasonable conclusion about what we're looking at. And what we're looking at are artificially altered mesas and buttes and landforms. Okay, these are not natural as is. Winds, rain, flowing water, ice haven't created these as they are. These have been physically altered, right, by the culture that existed here. Even this all looks like a massive rocks and everything, doesn't it? But it's not. It's not at all. It's there's animals, there's strange creatures there, there's all sorts. This, but I'll have to come back to them. And what I want to do today is just concentrate on this area, okay? And I'm going to show you that there's a lot more here than what we can see at first glance. I'm not talking about what I've shown you in the last video. I've shown you quite a few, but I wanted to show you some of the mesas here that and some of the alignments of them that I couldn't show in the last video for obvious time reasons. Okay, so if I just go back to so we ended the last video here, didn't we, with this sculpture in the ground with the human face, and he's wearing a bird crown, and it's the arm, the hand, and it's the baby Osiris. He's being reborn as a baby bird. Yeah, I don't want to really go into, I went into the great detail, didn't I, in the last video. There's the demon, the symbolic demon. So if you go back to my previous videos, my last one, you'll see all these geoglyphs here, the faces, 1, 2, 3, looking at the reborn Osiris. Yeah, okay. But what I just want to explain to you now is that now that he's been reborn, like I say, you don't have to believe the mythology that the analogies that I'm trying to put forward, but it's so it follows the Egyptian mythos so closely that it cannot be a coincidence. It cannot be a coincidence. So I'm pretty certain that the analogies that I'm explaining to you are the right ones. I wouldn't bother. I wouldn't waste my breath explaining all to you otherwise. You know what I mean? Because we do need an explanation for why they've built all these, and I'm trying to give you one. Okay, but at the end of the day, you can just take them for what they are. This is a face. It's wearing a bird crown. Okay, there's a geoglyph there. There's one there. There's one there, and you can just take them from what, as I'm pointing them out to you. But I do think that they are telling us a story. Okay, so if you just carry on with what I was describing, so we've got the reborn Osiris here. Now that he's reborn, right, into the world, what I noticed was, at first glance again, you look at these and they just look like random rocks and buttes and landforms, but they're not. And I'll show you, and I'll try and explain to you exactly what we're looking at here. But they're basically sculptures, okay, massive sculptures, you know, a kilometre, 2 kilometres, 3 kilometres in length, 4 kilometres in length, absolutely massive. And it took a lot of resources and it took a lot of effort, I think, to build, okay, and then something destroyed everything. But these were built so strongly, so big, that they survived the catastrophe that destroyed this civilization, okay. But they left this, and you know, and their belief system is, and their, you know, the main storyline that explains it is still here in these rocks, in these, you know, changed mesas. Yeah. Okay, so take this now. Again, it's subjective, it's just my opinion of what I'm looking at, but I'm basing everything on other evidence that I've found. So even if at first glance you might say to yourself, oh, come on, you're stretching a little bit here, I'm explaining these on quite a bit of evidence that I've accumulated in my other videos. So even if I've got to sort of make a little bit of a guess of what we're looking at, I still think they're strong guesses, because they're built on top of a good foundation, in my opinion. Yeah. So we have the reborn Osiris. This by the way is I made a video about that called the Statue of Liberty, and if you go and have a look at it, I'll explain exactly what I think that is. Okay, but that's that there. But say this, for example, we look at this. Now when I look at this, I do not just see a random grouping of rocks. Just let me see, play that a little tiny bit, just to take the edge off the pixelation. When I look at this, right, I see a bird and I see wings. Yeah. Now, is the bird's head, there's its beak, and then there's its body, right? There's its tail here. You can just see like striations, which could represent feathers. There's its body, and it's curved, right? And it's curved for a reason, because I think what they've tried to portray here is a bird in the middle of lifting up off the floor. Okay, so you can imagine the bird like tensing and then spreading its wings out here. Yeah. So its wings are like swooping forward and up, and as it's taking off. And I think this is a representation, an artistic representation of a bird. I mean, it could be landing, to be honest with you, as well, the way the wings swoop up and then down, but it's more likely to be taken off, because of, well, I'll explain that to you in a minute. But that's what I think that is. Okay, and these are the wings swooping round. Yeah, I hope you can see that. But that's what I think that is. Okay, bear with me. I know it's subjective, but bear with me. Okay, because don't forget, we're talking about rebirth here, and it's being reborn back into the world, and this is going places, and I'll show you exactly where it's going in a minute. And I even think this here is an animal. See this? This is an animal. Just let me do a layer. I don't really want to get bogged down in all this, to be honest with you. But you know, this, it's I think it's actually two. It's like actually two. There's its mouth there, and it comes down here. Okay. So this is, and then there's another one just in front of it here. It's like an alpaca or something like that. You know the ones that you get in those animals with like the tuft of hair. They've got a very long neck. You get them in South America. That's what they look like to me. Okay. You know, I might be completely wrong. I don't think I am. And this, like I say, this is a bird taken off, and these are the wings. Now, whether or not they've built that from scratch, or they've seen, say, a crater, and then they've built the form of the wing around it, you know, I'm not too sure. Okay, there's like a platform here, and there's like structures on that, and there's structures within. There's like structures within this. You can just about see them. They look like pixels, little square, but and they're not pixels. The structures. Okay, it's full of structures that. But I'm just showing you the actual geoglyphs and sculptures. Okay, and just so you know, it's looking in this direction. This bird is looking in this direction. It's taking off, right? Because that's where it's going. Here. Okay? That's dead important, that. So just let me come out of this. Just let me delete that. Okay. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you what I hope is a little tiny bit of evidence, right, that I'm not talking rubbish here. Okay, when I talk about these things, if you watch that, and I'm showing this in more or less the original image. Okay, I haven't changed or enhanced it or anything. I might show you some enhanced images later on, of course, but at this moment in time I'm showing you the original as downloaded from ESSA, which isn't the best of colours, but I don't want to be accused of like altering anything at the, you know, I want to show you exactly the original, and then I'll show you what, you know, any enhancements. I'll just show you them. But if you go to my last video, you'll see this, the goose here. You know, and as far as I'm concerned, it's obviously it's a goose now. And then next to it, you've got the hawk's head. Okay, but I did hints last when I showed this last time. There was a connection here, because what I want you to do is just have a look. There's the beak, right, and there's the hawk, and you can even see there's even a hint of like wings as if it's flying. Just let me do a layer. And it's all like subtle. Okay, so is the hawk's head. There's his bottom jaw there. That's rebar, by the way. You know, that must have held up that part. But it's all like disintegrating and collapsing, the dome. But if you look here, right, you get the hint of wings. Can you see that? So when you look at it, it's sort of like you know, a bird in flight. Okay, it's very subtle, but it is there. You've got, you know, you've got the front parts, which is the hawk's head, and you've got the left and right, which are the wings, and you've got the like the tail feather part. Yeah, can you see that? And it's a very subtle hint of something in flight. That's how good they were when they were building these, and how artistic they were and that. But it is there if you look at it very, very carefully. Now, delete that. And that's one of the reasons why the goose's head is split into sections. See, like this collar here, okay, and you sort of get the goose's head, and then you've got it's like there's a wall there that's like a little cliff, and it's done deliberately so they can fit in the subtle, like the subtle tail fins, and you can see where it's differentiated there. So it's ever so slightly looks like wing, like something in flight. Okay, but again, I don't want to dwell on it too much because it makes the videos too long. So we've got the goose looking in this direction. We've got the hawk looking in this direction, right? And then here, this is a really interesting feature. And what I think we're looking at here is a bird in a nest. Okay, you see that? So we've got the bird. You can see the eyes. You can see its beak is slightly open, and there's the body, and that represents a bird in a nest. But very, very interestingly, right? I always try and look for an analogy on Earth, and I normally find it within Egyptian mythology and society. Now the hieroglyph for basket, because this looks a little tiny bit like a basket. If you go and have a look at an Egyptian hieroglyph for basket, it's shaped more or less like that. Okay, it's like a basket, and it can also be a bowl, right? And the Egyptian word for basket is nebet, N-E-B-E-T, right? And what that means in English is two things. Neb means all, and neb can also mean lord or master. I think they were used interchangeable, the two words. So the word for basket was nebet, right? But it also means all, lord or master. Now, if you look at these, and I pointed out these as well, they're all looking to this area here, to this corner. That's where they're looking, okay? But this isn't, okay? This is stopped, if you like, and is looking in this direction. And it won't come as any surprise to anybody that it's actually looking, as far as I can tell, I'm not saying it's completely accurate, as far as I can tell, it's looking in this direction. Okay, so it's looking at the face on Mars, but the reverse side where he's died. Again, go and look at one of my other videos, and I don't think it's a coincidence, is it? Because these are all starting to move in this direction, like they either being reborn, rebirth, they're going to the paradise, amenti, whatever you want to call it, and they're all moving. But this has stopped on its journey and is looking back. And if the word for basket means all, or lord or master, that's got to be something such as like all praise the Lord, all praise the Master. Can you understand that? And I think that's what that is. It cannot be a coincidence that the Egyptian hieroglyph for basket is nebet, and neb means all, and neb also means Lord or Master. And this is stopped on its journey, the bird in the nest, and it's looking at the face, and it means all. So it's referring to the Lord or the Master. Okay, again, it cannot be a coincidence. Cannot be. So that's what I think that is. Just let me step back on that. Okay, and next to it is this here. Again, I think that symbolises a bird. I'm pretty certain of it. You've got, you've got the wings, you've got the tail feathers, you've got the head region. It's not exactly, it doesn't look exactly like, a bird, because it's symbolic. Don't forget, this could be like a platform where people walked. Okay, pretty much the same as that. See that there? That was that went to a platform. That was mostly a platform before it was destroyed. You can see it all the dome was all collapsing. So this was most probably a platform as well. And there's actually an entrance there. See that? That is an entrance going into the tail feathers of the bird. So I think that is a bird, again, moving in this direction. Okay, so just a little recap. We've got the goose with the beak aligned here. We've got the hawk aligned this way. We've got the bird in the nest. Also, as well, the Egyptians used to put in the hieroglyph of a basket, they used to put either a bird or a cobra in the basket, and they did that so that they could emphasize that the bird in the basket was a deity. Okay, so that's why the bird was in the basket, because it indicated it was a deity. Again, it's not coincidence, is it? And then we've got this bird moving, because that's what these are doing, moving in this direction. Now here again is another bird. We've got the head, we've got the eye, is the body, and then there's the wing. You see that? That's the wing, and it seems to be sitting in a branch. Okay, that's what I can see. That is a bird, and it's sitting in a branch, right? And in the symbology of Egypt, you would often see a bird, in artistic designs, and they would portray the Bennu bird, which we were talking about. This one here, the dead bird, which is the phoenix, but the Egyptian version was the Bennu bird. Okay, it's exactly the same, more or less. And but the Bennu bird was often portrayed sitting in the branch of a willow tree. And what did this bird represent? It represented, in Egyptian mythology, religion, it represented the god Osiris. And here we have, in my humble opinion, in my view, my subjective view, I suppose, can't prove it one way or another, but this to me is a bird sitting in a branch. And a bird sitting in a branch in Egyptian religion, mythology, represented the Bennu bird sitting on a willow tree, represented the god Osiris. Another coincidence? No, it's not, is it? Okay, but that's what I think that is. Yeah, and this here, what does that look like? If you look at it very carefully, what does it look like? To me, it looks like the head of a reptile. See, there's the eye, there's the mouth wide open, and there's its tongue. And when I say reptile, I'm talking specifically something like a chameleon or something like that. Where they used to lash the tongue out, and the tongue was rolled, and then if it's seen an insect, the tongue would lash out, yeah, and because it was like sticky, and capture the fly and pull it back to its mouth. And if you look at that very carefully, that's what we're looking at. That is exactly what we're looking at. The head of a reptile, mostly a chameleon, with the tongue curled, ready to strike out. Yeah? And then this here, again, I'm not too sure whether it's a bird or, like a bird of prey's head or whatever, but it's clearly, it's an animal, isn't it? You've got the head, You've got the skull, you've got the eyes, you've got the nostrils, you've got the upper jaw, lower jaw, yeah? And, you know, you can clearly see that it's not just a random piece of rock or a mesa or a butte. It's in the shape of an animal. This is in the shape of an animal. A chameleon or whatever. That's some, I'm not sure, quite sure what that is. Okay? But you can see that they're animals and birds. This is a bird. See this? You can see the head and the beak. Yeah, can you see that? The wings. There's nothing natural. All this has been destroyed. All these were like buildings maybe and structures, and it's all been destroyed. Yeah, look at the shape of that. Right, see that? If you come over here, you will see something that at one time was exactly the same. See the way it comes down, and then it comes, it changes a 90-degree angle there. Yeah, and then there's the other part of the wings there. That is exactly the same as that. Can you see that? See, comes down and up. But this has been destroyed. Okay, so that was mostly another bird there, and it's been destroyed while this one's survived. And if we come to the passageway, remember the passageway in the last video? So let me do a layer here. Okay, we come through the passageway, didn't we, into the mouth of the symbolic demon and the shellless snail here. Okay, and I did say at the time that this passageway was quite interesting because it held other sculptures. Now this seems to be, looks like a mummy to me, this here, holding a jar or something on its chest. You see the toes coming out, the leg, the behind, the body. It's even got like, I think they were called headjet, Hedjet, like a long bulbous helmet, and it's even got one of them on there, see? And the face is eroded, but you can see the eyes a little bit, the neck, like it's holding something here. That to me is mostly represents a mummy or something like that, because don't forget, this is the passageway where the soul of Osiris was going to be reborn. Okay, and on this side here we seem to have the profile of a face. You see the eye, you see the nose, you see the mouth, the chin. It's even wearing a little pork pie hat. Can you see that? It's not a hat. It's like a valley. That is a valley. This is deep. These are like the edges of cliffs here. See, this is like a cliff, and the portrait's been done on the floor. But looking nadir angle straight down, you can see that it looks, and it's meant to look like a face, and it's wearing a little hat. Okay, let me just, you can see the peak there. You see that? You see that? And then there's the forehead, there's the eye, there's the nose, there's the mouth, there's the chin. And can you see the strap here going down? You see the strap going down underneath the neck? It's even got a strap on. And then in the front there, it's got, there's like, I don't know, some kind of ornamentation. They're obviously structures, but it looks as if they were meant to portray clothing or something like that. And then in the back there's like a little bird. You see the bird shape there. Okay, and then there's the mummy shape there. You see that? And it's got one of them big bulbous hats on that the Egyptians used to wear. And it's carrying something there. Yeah. Okay, now, and this here is like a fish or a dolphin. You see that? Oh, sorry, that's up that way. And then it's got like a big fin on its top there. Can you see? Can you see that? Again, pointing in this direction. But what I'm going to show you here, right, should sort of confirm that I'm not just guessing here about what we're looking at, okay? Because say we take the nose of, sorry, just 1 second. Remember in the last video, you know, I've just said that's got a pork payat on, and remember this hieroglyph here, this profile of a face, that's got a pork payat on as well. Remember, there's the nose and the mouth, and it's looking. Remember, so there's two profiles of human faces with the same type of vat on. You see that there? Anyway, let me get me line. Now, if I go from this human profile's nose and go straight down the beak of the sculptured goose there, then that goes straight down the beak of the hawk, and then it touches the head of the bird in the nest, and then goes down, right down the center of that bird. Okay, I mean right down the very center. Can you see that? That cannot be coincidental. Okay, and then it goes past the vulture and then carries on. Okay, so these are all aligned. Can you see that? Exactly down the center. Yeah, and I don't think it's any coincidence that the back end of the pyramid, the D&M pyramid, right, is aligned. See the D&M pyramid, the back end of it is aligned exactly on the center of that bird there. See the end of the D&M pyramid here. If you draw a line from it, it goes right through the center of that bird there. There's most probably dozens upon dozens of really accurate alignments here, but I'm not a mathematician. I'm not I'm not very good at geometry or anything like that. I'm just pointing out the things that I see that are obvious to me. Okay, I think there was a guy called Horace Crater that did an evaluation of some of these smaller structures, and he came to the conclusion that they were placed they were artificial. They were artificially because they created perfect shapes and angles, etc. Okay, whether he's correct in that, I'm not. I think he was, but I'm not too sure. But I'm just giving you the obvious alignments that I can see, and that cannot be a coincidence, because if you draw a straight line, it goes straight from the center. I've taken it from the nose of this guy, but right down the center of the beak, just through the center of that beak, touches the head of this bird, and then straight down the center of this bird. That is not coincidence. It cannot be. Okay, and you've got the other alignments. This vulture is looking in this direction, isn't it? This is looking in this direction. This chameleon, the curly tongue, is looking in this direction. Yeah. So it's all aligned, all orientated to the southeast. Just let me delete that. to leave that, I think. But just want to show you something else as well about the contour variety. So if just rotate that 180 degrees, okay. So on one side, this particular feature looks like a chameleon, but when you turn it round, what does it look like now? It looks like a dolphin's, the front part of a dolphin, doesn't it? Can you see that? The dolphin, the eye, and its mouth is open because it's catching something. You see that? Looks exactly like a dolphin. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Okay then, guys, I'm gonna actually leave this here. Remember when I told you about the skull, and there's two skulls, and if you move them 20 degrees, they're looking. This skull here, just let me draw the line. Okay, so this side, the right hand side here, this skull is actually looking in this direction here. Okay, so everything was orientated to represent birds, animals. The face is orientated. See the face there. Sorry, wrong one. The face is orientated. Sorry, guys. This direction, isn't it? See the way it's being built. So it's being built to show its alignment to the southeast. Remember I was talking about this face, and where was it looking? If you go back to my last video, it's actually looking down this direction. So virtually everything in the south of the image, the face, this face, the skull, the pyramid, the bottom part of the pyramid, not the top part is orientated towards the banquet, to the statues. I think that was my very first video of this narrative. But the back end of the pyramid is in this area, and these are all aligned, and they're either flying or moving towards this area here. And it's not coincidence, is it? It must be some kind of representation of the continuation of the life of this society and their religion, the rebirth of their society. Okay, now, so this area, everything is orientated towards it, and it's not a coincidence, I don't think. Okay then, guys, I'm gonna leave it there. There are other things that I want to show you, but the videos run too long. Okay, so I'll have to go back to them. I don't want to go back to this next video, and I want to do a few things on these as well, because these aren't just a random bunch of rocks. Okay, and this here is very weird, and I'll show you what that is, but it's really weird. So I'll show you what that is next video. Okay then, guys, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next video. Thank you.